Andrew Tate is cooked. Send him back. That's what I say. He is absolutely deep fried. And it's now official. The Trump administration are not going to help Andrew Tate and his brother out. All right. All of the Epstein favors were used up. The new Epsteins, they're not getting no bail. They're not getting no support. Okay. These guys are just Jeffrey Epstein twins with a Signal and Telegram account. That's all they are, okay? And it is official. Trump is not going to allow the Tate brothers to be extradited to Britain. In this video, I'm going to be showing you everything about why they are cooked, the newly unsealed court files with all the details about the disgusting, depraved, despicable charges against these two clowns. You've already seen how they've snitched on themselves in previous videos, but they're completely cooked, and they're not going to get no favors, despite having shaken a few hands in the right rooms, okay? It's official. US president will not step in to block Pear's return to the UK. They will not be passing go. They will not be collecting $200 or pounds. They were arrested in Miami on new abuse charges, all right? Crimes against fashion, crimes against women and girls, crimes against children. They've got it all. Okay, so it said the White House will officially allow Andrew Tate and his brother to be extradited to Britain, despite pressure from figures in Donald Trump's inner circle. The US president will not step in to block the brothers' return to the UK after they were arrested in Miami on new SA charges. Andrew Tate is facing charges related to indecent images of young'uns and extreme P. Absolutely despicable. Okay, the social media influencer and his younger sibling, Tristan Tate, were detained by US police on Saturday at the request of British detectives who are seeking their extradition to face trial over allegations of the R-word and human trafficking. They are disgusting. Diddlers. They're diddlers. They're young and diddlers by the sounds of things, allegedly. This is all alleged, but they have admitted to doing just as much in certain videos, okay? And you're going to be seeing a lot more of that going around. X is just full of Tate snitching on themselves right now, and it's rightly so. So their arrest has prompted calls from prominent Republicans and some admin figures for Mr. Trump to intervene amid claims that the brothers were victims of a politically motivated witch hunt, similar to those the president said he faced. But the US official told The Telegraph that the White House would not become involved in this case, which is expected to drag on for months. They said the White House has no involvement and no feelings on the issue. They said, you're on your own, buddy. This ain't nothing to do with me, and don't compare your weird case. Don't compare your weird case to mine, okay? Andrew and Tristan got a weird case. Why are they around? The lack of intervention will be a blow for the Tates, who reportedly contacted people in Mr. Trump's orbit and leveraged their relationship with administration figures to build a campaign supporting their alleged innocence. The timing was a bit suspicious. Suddenly they're swanning around Washington, D.C., shaking hands, kissing babies. Apparently they've been kissing babies for 15 years, if the UK authorities are anything to be believed. But anyway, it said the brothers have long been hinted they have friends in high places. When the pair were first arrested in Florida, they definitely got friends in high places. Jeffrey Epstein's definitely in a low place, actually. He in the sky, though. He in the sky for sure. Anyway, when the pair were first arrested in Florida last year following a period of house arrest in Romania, Andrew Tate suggested in leaked text that the Trump administration had helped him and his brother flee the country. Mr. Trump was asked about the claim at the time. He said he knew nothing about it. No idea. No idea. Okay? But he said in leaked text. That's what he was saying. So Andrew Tate first claimed to be close to the Trump family and in contact with Mr. Trump's son, Barron, in July 2024, following an assassination attempt on the president. Came in from Romania last year to the US, telling reporters, I'm very close with the Trump family. I know them well. Among the Tate's other allies is Alina Harbour, Mr. Trump's former personal lawyer, who was forced to quit as New Jersey's top prosecutor in December, telling Andrew Tate on a podcast last January, I got your back over here. J.D. Vance, the vice president, also follows both brothers on X. Before their arrest last week, the brothers spent several days in Washington, D.C., hosted by a Trump envoy, and was seen in the halls of Capitol Hill and enjoying one of the city's most exclusive private members clubs. Trump spoke to Andrew for about 15 minutes. Paolo Zampoli, the former modeling scout who introduced the president to Melania, invited the Tates to a summer party on July the 15th. Sources closest to Mr. Zampoli said he was largely unaware of the brothers and didn't know the exact purpose of their trip. He said he spoke to Andrew for about 15 minutes in 2 days, said the source. The night before, the Italian-American businessman accompanied the pair to the Ned, an exclusive private members club near the White House, which is frequented by high-level politicians. The Tates' arrest has prompted anger among large portions of the president's base, who have become frustrated at the lack of prosecutions with Trump's enemies and those associated with the Epstein files. This is like a low-budget gas station DVD remake of the Epstein files, the Andrew Tate files. Another U.S. Official close to discussions about the case told The Telegraph that the White House had been blindsided by the U.S. Department of Justice's decision to follow through with the British arrest warrant. The attitude is that we've not arrested Democrats that stole the election or people associated with Epstein, but we're going to hand over American citizens to the UK. They are UK citizens too, all right? People are just dummies in this situation, unfortunately. It says Rubio didn't know about it, Trump didn't know about it, Todd Blanche didn't know about it. We've watched Trump get hit with phony indictments. Our attitude is, if you have the proof, show us. This guy is a real egghead, all right? This is Joseph McBride, the brother's lawyer. He's on Twitter tweeting about the Matrix rather than actually fighting for any justice, but fighting for any freedom, I'll have you. But he's not going to be able to do anything. The brothers appeared in a Florida court on Monday wearing orange prison jumpsuits with their hands shackled. They were told they would remain behind bars until a judge considered the request. After their initial request last year, the brothers hired Joseph McBride, a lawyer who defended Trump supporters accused of insurrection on January the 6th. On Monday, he said the case is garbage. It's a stitch-up job. Andrew Tate was already facing 10 charges, including 3 of R-word, 4 of actual bodily harm, 2 of human trafficking, 1 of controlling prostitution for gain, and his younger brother was recently facing 11 charges, including 3 counts of the R-word, 6 of actual bodily harm, 2 counts of human trafficking. And on Saturday, the Crown Prosecution Service announced a raft of new charges, a whole bunch of things, specifically S-trafficking and indecent images of a young'un. Tate was also charged with 2 counts of the R-word, 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation. They now have 59 charges against the both of them. So, newly unsealed court files are now releasing sort of the full details about the charges against the brothers, and it's really, really extremely, shockingly, shoddily bad. So I've got them here. Okay, so look, this is a document that's got some of the details. What I think I might do is I might just take it off screen and read it to you guys, because to be honest, you can look at me putting together the words, but I'm probably going to end up showing some things on screen. I'm going to get in trouble. I'm not going to be able to upload the video. It's going to be nonsense. So let me just put what's something gross. If I just put a picture of Jeffrey Epstein on the screen, perhaps that would be funny instead. So Epstein, Andrew Tate. Maybe there's like a picture of them two together, or like a fake side by side. Tell you what, I'm just going to throw this on the screen. Let me just throw this on the screen, but I'll read you the article. I'll read you some of the details, okay? So it says, the new documents detail the R-word charges against the Tate brothers in the UK. Here's what we know. So they're still in custody in Florida. They're fighting extradition requests from the UK, but the newly unsealed documents reveal more details from prosecutors about the latest S-crime charges that they're facing. So the federal filings released Monday night detail complaints made by women to British officials made by women to British officials against both brothers about sexual and physical abuse, including claims the women were choked, sometimes to the point of passing out, and the R-word. The brothers appeared in federal court Miami. They denied all charges against them. And what's interesting, this kind of documents the history of the Tates. They got their start in reality TV in the UK, which reminds me of somebody else. A couple other people were pretty big in reality TV. Obviously, they kind of became notorious for their misogynistic online content. They had an online university. They just went viral by any means, saying whatever they had to say, and, you know, became the most popular people in this so-called manosphere. Their whole thing was, we say what you can't say elsewhere. We say what men in society can't say. Have loads of women, you know, like... I don't really care for people like, it's so horrible they teach men how to hate women. I just think they teach men just the same boring childish stuff that, you know, a young kid that is kind of like doesn't really understand, hasn't really had many experiences with women would think. This idea of having loads of wives. Now he's had loads of children, and, you know, I have loads of women. You can be with as many women as you want, and that's fine if that's how you want to live your life. But it's sort of like this idea of like, you got to control women, you got to be the big dog, you got to, like, at the end of the day, Andrew Tate's message was kind of just like a very controversial version of macho lifestyle, basically. Get in the gym, live with your bros, put women in their place. Women shouldn't be able to drive, they suck at driving, stuff like that. And look, it was made artificially to seem more controversial than it was, to push his image, push his persona, push his agenda, push his courses, really is what it was all about. Him being so controversial, going after Greta Thunberg. I've got so many cars. Oh, I don't care. Women should be in the house doing housework, getting me a coffee, get me 2 coffees. You know, I don't think it was even as controversial as people made out. I think it was a bit of a psyop. But anyway, what the new documents are revealing, apparently they have been facing R-word and human trafficking charges for many years, 59 charges. So basically, it was unsealed Monday. Prosecutors detailed allegations from British authorities involving 2 victims. One woman was working in the webcam business and was frequently put in chokeholds that caused her to lose consciousness, and he would do the R word on her at an alleged attack in her home in 2015 in Bedford, England. Another victim said she had consensual relations with Tate in 2014 after they met on a dating app. In a later separate encounter, he visited her home in Manchester, and during relations, she was pinned down, unable to breathe, and afraid that he wouldn't stop and was going to kill her during the encounter. Gross. So he's now facing an additional 7 counts of the R word, 3 counts of S trafficking, 3 counts of assault, 19 more counts relating to illegal videos of young'uns and extreme P word. So the prosecutor basically said that they've got all of these charges, and then they unsealed Tristan's charges. It said he repeatedly R-worded a woman he was in a long-term romantic relationship with between 2012 and 2013, choked her to the point she was actually unconscious, hit her with a belt numerous occasions, causing serious bruising and welts on her body. One occasion struck her, causing a black eye. Tristan then faced 2 additional counts of the R word, 1 of SA, 3 counts of facilitating travel for exploitation, and 17 charges of SA R word trafficking. So it says that British investigators obtained witness statements, electronic messages, photographs. It all corroborates to the allegations. And so they're basically fighting this extradition situation. So I didn't want to show that on screen in case I got in trouble, but that's kind of the gist of it. Of the charges. Now, there was this going around on Twitter. Somebody kind of had the full complaint, and what I'm probably going to do is just quickly skim through this for any more specifics that I didn't have from that previous article. So what's interesting, it's basically a complaint for provisional arrest with a view towards extradition. It was filed by an attorney of the USA, Abby D. Waxman, for a Trump-appointed U.S. Attorney Jason A. Redding Quinones, sworn before a magistrate judge via FaceTime. So talking about these are Trump appointees that are low-key behind some of this. He's not got a chance in hell. And the U.S. is acting on behalf of the U.K. under the 2003 U.S.-UK extradition treaty, and they're allowed to request a provisional arrest in an urgent situation before the formal extradition package is submitted. This is an urgent situation, and apparently the U.S. rarely ever denies anything like this. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this image because I've looked ahead and there's some pretty despicable stuff in here. So I'll explain it in different terms. There was the graphic content warning on these tweets, but they basically said the substance of the case filing, because it's a public document, but it basically says, as per the complaint, Tate did the R word in the front and the back. Let's say, if you can use your imagination, the front door and the back door was entered without permission. I'm not talking about a house. She basically choked until she lost consciousness, blacked out, would wake up. Basically, he would forcefully slap her to wake her up. And when she woke up, she would find that he was inside the back door of the house. She made it clear that she didn't consent to this entry. The behavior was repeated multiple times over the course of a year and a half, caused black eyes, marks on her skin, slappings, beating with a belt, welts on her behind and her legs. She would scream for him to stop, and he often wouldn't stop. There was a specific incident on December 24th, 2012, Christmas Eve, when Tate apparently picked her up from the train station and drove her to his mother's house in Luton, and there she claims that he pushed her onto a mattress, pinned her down, did the R word, and hit her and grabbed her numerous times and caused bruising. She claimed she didn't have the choice to consent, and he didn't check for consent. She named Tate based on their relationship, told authorities she could identify him from TV and social media. And then basically they said the prosecutors believed that he would flee if he learned a warrant existed, and that was the basis for sealing the warrant until it was executed, and they got him. And he was a dummy, thinking, oh, well, my friends in the Trump administration, they've let me hot-tail it from Romania to the US. Now I'm just going to be able to swan around and do what I want. Didn't count on this at all. He is a dummy. Okay, so the UK has 60 days from the provisional arrest to deliver the formal request and supporting documents. If they miss that window, he'll be discharged, or he can be discharged from custody. But that doesn't stop him being rearrested and extradited later, and he may well be barred from leaving America, even if that's the case. But I think they'll hit him. They'll hit him with the. They'll hit. You know what I'm saying? They'll hit him with the hit stick, the stiff arm, and he's going to be cooked and sent back to the UK. So yeah, the full treaty with the US and the UK was kind of part of the paperwork, and this is just really, really bad. So it's now kind of going around that it's going to happen. He's going to get extradited. This was another post on X said, assuming Rubio doesn't block the extradition, what are the odds of the Tate being extradited to the UK? I read the treaty in the case law. The answer is near certainty. And here's why. So they're saying the posture first. The US Marshals had arrested them on the UK request. They're both in federal custody. It's more stuff that I don't want to show. Let me go back to this. It is crazy. Basically, the hearing isn't a trial. They got to basically cover the treaty. Then they've got to identify kind of what the plan is, the dual criminality and the probable cause. Guilt, innocent, and motives are off the table. They're not going to be able to fight their case in court. They're going to just have to fight getting sent back to the UK for these heinous, horrible charges. And it basically says that this idea, people are basically missing the fact that it's an extradition hearing, not a trial. The trial would happen in the UK. And it basically said it's a 2003 US-UK extradition treaty. It's been enforced since April the 26th, 2007. Nobody disputes who these people are. Basically, just none of the facts of the matter or why this is happening is relevant at all. And them being American citizens is also irrelevant. Extradition shall not be refused based on nationality, and this has been established in a case that goes all the way back to 1901. So just because you're American doesn't mean you can go to any country you want, murder anyone, do whatever you want, and never get extradited back. It says 11 of the 58 people the US surrendered since the UK... 11 of the 58 people the US surrendered to the UK since 2007 were US citizens. So people are saying it's from 2010, it's too old. That's not true, because the treaty abolished the lapse of time bar. There's no statute of limitations, basically. Extraditions are made without any concern of statute of limitations in either state. Doesn't matter. No such thing when it comes to this stuff. It says dual criminality is conduct-based, not element matching. So the R word, assault, trafficking, illegal videos, they basically are obviously related to laws in the US. It's not like, oh, they've got some backwards-ass law in the UK that's unreasonable compared to what US society thinks normal. No, if you did this in America, you would be just as cooked. It would be disgusting, or you would be getting arrested in the state of Florida or beyond. So from there... all of the type of materials that they've been accused of having, the illegal videos, it's criminalized, all right? There's absolutely no protection. There's no private protection. There's no, oh, well, it wasn't illegal here. If he had them videos on his devices, or even just the fact that he had possessed those images, there's no protection whatsoever of obscenity. Some of those images... they might still be around, they might not, but at the end of the day, there is no defense to be had here. So they basically kind of go on to say, they can only offer explanatory evidence, not contradictory evidence. It's all for a London jury. All they can do, they're fighting a treaty that is very well upheld, and there ain't no possibility, ain't no circumstances where this treaty, they're not going to be able to fight this treaty. Calling it a matrix attack all you want, saying there's no evidence, the girls actually like them, all that kind of stuff, they made so much money together, doesn't matter. You're fighting a treaty, okay? And that just is what it is. There ain't no two ways about it. So yeah, that's what's going on. So yeah, it's pretty serious. So this idea that it's lawfare, a political hit job, it's addressed to an audience of one. The Secretary of State, not a judge. Judge doesn't give a shit. The judge is only looking at the extradition rules and the treaty. And this idea that, well, Romania has priority, UK was supposed to wait for Romania to finish. Well, it's not enforceable. It doesn't matter. Romania's indictment was annulled on December 2024, sent back to prosecutors. It's become an It's basically been devolved from an investigation from an indictment back to an investigation. They didn't beat the charges. They weren't acquitted like they've been lying to the media saying. So technically now, arguably, you could say actually the US case takes precedent. So from here, basically if a judge, refuses the extradition, basically they can just simply refile it. The defense has to basically fight this extradition over and over and over again, but the government only has to win it once, and he's gone back to the UK. Cooked, okay? No court has ever refused a US extradition request under treaty. US court has never, ever, all right, refused a UK extradition request under this treaty. The only modern refusal was Ansakoulas, and this was apparently an executive decision. No courts were involved. And if you remember, that was the woman that allegedly had diplomatic immunity. She hit and ran over somebody in the UK, fled to America, and then never came back. That was despicable, but that wasn't the same. They were not given a full court hearing and this wasn't attempted. Okay, so it doesn't actually relate. Goes on to say, unlikely that there's going to be any kind of bail. He's got too many ties, private jets, dual nationality, Dubai ties. No way that they can guarantee him getting out safely and not running away. Basically, they're going to certify this. They're absolutely going to send him back to the UK. It's not likely to be released. He's going to have to surrender, and he's probably going to be sent back. Is what it is. Okay, completely is what it is. It's over with. Okay, he's cooked. So from there, okay, a lot of people have been reacting. Now, weirdly enough, this is a crossover episode now, but Clavicular just appeared on Piers Morgan, and on the show, he actually did discuss the case. Let me try and show this to you without getting in too much trouble.
So look, there's a lot going on in your world. I'm going to get to that very quickly. But just first of all, obviously, the last time I spoke to you, you just had this big furore in which he'd been in this club with the Tates and others. And we've got this big breaking news this week, obviously, about Andrew and Tristan Tate being arrested in America. What's been your reaction to this?
So I actually pulled up about 5 minutes after that whole situation took place. It was at a boxing event. So that was quite surprising to hear because, I thought I was going to run into the Tate brothers. I don't know anything about the case personally, but, obviously they're innocent until proven guilty. So we'll see what happens. But, I really don't know anything too much, but let's see what happens.
Have you had much contact with them since the Miami nightclub incident?
Yeah. I've talked to Tate, I think, once or twice, and we've done collaborations, more so with Andrew than Tristan. But yeah, I've seen them once or twice.
Does this, how do you feel about this sort of situation? They're facing 58 charges now, incredibly serious charges across a wide range of different things, from rape and sexual abuse to, child pornography and so on. Will you now distance yourself from them completely? How are you viewing what is happening here?
Well, it's really not too surprising because this is what happens to a lot of different influencers. Is there's a lot of political attacks with a lot of these strung up charges. So it's happened to me in the past. So political persecution through legal means is nothing new. So it's just another case of that.
How do you know that it's that? How do you know for sure that these are not charges with merit? 7 different women. They're making a number of very serious allegations. How can you be so confident this is just a trumped up, as you put it, political persecution?
Well, I could say this. Once again, they're innocent until proven guilty.
That is true, but you've already effectively convicted the alleged victims as being liars.
Well, in the last proceedings of this case, if I remember correctly, there was people who were paid to make certain statements. So that whole thing really calls a lot into concern. So, I do believe in due process. So that's what I have to say about that.
My final question on this, because I want to move on to you, but when you say you believe in due process, but you also say it's a trumped up political persecution, those two things can't be true at the same time.
Why not?
Well, because in the second part of that, you're basically saying this is all trumped up, it's all political, there's no merit here, these charges are ridiculous. But in the first part, you think due process matters. Does it not matter for the alleged victims?
Well, it's a little bit ridiculous, the entire thing about the extradition. I think it's a bit of an embarrassment to the United States to allow the UK to come in and do an arrest on United States soil in a very public way.
Well, to be fair, the Americans did the arrest, and we have an extradition treaty between the US and UK. Most of the crimes were allegedly committed in the UK. Why shouldn't they? Why shouldn't they do this?
Well, just a bit of an embarrassment.
Is that because essentially you don't believe any of the allegations?
Well, no, I believe that, the United States shouldn't, be extraditing to the United Kingdom. But that's besides the point. So let's move on.
Okay, let's move on to you.
So that is a ridiculous. The United States shouldn't be extraditing people to the United Kingdom. Are you dumb? He is dumb, but of course they should be, because you want England. You want, if it's the shoe was on the other foot, you guys would be begging for the extradition. But anyway, a number of videos have been going viral, but one particular one's been going viral that apparently shows Andrew Tate talking about his phone when he got arrested in Romania previously. So this basically says Andrew Tate was caught talking about the police trying to break into his phone via brute forcing his password, and he recently went viral for trying to quickly pass his phone to his security guard, which didn't work because a US marshal saw it, he dropped it, and the cops got it. So this is bad.
You have to tell them the password. So the first time they raided my house, they got my phone, they said, "It is the law that you must tell me your password. If you do not tell me your password, you get an automatic 2-year jail sentence." And I said, "Well, I'm not denying. Give me my password. I'd love to give you my password. Unfortunately, because this is a stressful situation, I forgot. I don't remember." "Tell us." "I'm sorry, sir. I have forgotten. I don't remember. So I can give it to you." Because they can't prove in court that I remember it. They can prove I said no. I didn't say no. I forgot. And I don't have a number password on my phone because I'm not a dickhead. I have a nice long multi-character, 40 character long, exclamation marks, fucking dashes. I got the whole fucking lot. You can type it. I tested it on one of those password testers. They're like, 4 trillion years, because everyone thinks the police have magic powers. They don't. They can just brute force a phone. That's all they can do. They plug it into something called Cellbrite. This is for all the people at home. They plug it in, and then it overrides the automatic lockout, and then they can just attempt passwords on repeat until they get in. So if you have a 4-digit number password, because they get unlimited attempts and because there's not that many opportunities or not that many combinations, they'll get in an hour. And if you have a simple word, they'll get in an hour. But if you have a password like mine, 3 trillion years. Space aliens will eventually read my phones, because I'm sure they're still trying. Go for it.
He kind of is. I'm not saying that there's no need for privacy in this modern day world, but it's like, why are you doing so much to try and avoid, you know, this accountability? He's clearly got something to cover up and something to hide, right? So somebody's kind of gone on to, you know, basically make another compilation of all the times that Andrew Tate apparently lied about his illegal businesses. This was super interesting. I enjoyed this one earlier. This basically was just more proof that he was pimping and doing illegal stuff.
Brother made money from video chat studios?
No, that's not true at all. That's not true at all. I first became a multimillionaire by running a webcam studio.
How long ago was your webcam business?
Yeah, so I stopped having any involvement with it. I think 8 to 9 years ago I stopped. When Corona came, I scaled it back up, right? So I got 20 more girls online. We scaled that back up to $300,000 or $400,000 a month. So I got back into the game hard. But now we're coming towards the end of Corona. I'm going to keep like 5 or 6 of my main girls. I mean, what did I do? I helped some people organize some accounts on an internet website. That's what I did. I created a system that allowed me to convince girls to do this, allowed me to retain 100% control of their income. I know how to make sure the girl can't run away. I helped women with the tax side. Tax is also another important element for controlling your woman. You're not going to pay anybody tax, but you need to tell your girl that you're paying the tax. Is that my crime? Maybe I did love them. But we're not together anymore, so what? I pretended? Who said I pretended? Prove I pretended to love. And then what did I pretend to love them to achieve?
I have to fuck her so she obeys me. I don't give a shit about having sex with beautiful women. I fuck them so they listen to me. So I can get what I actually want, which is not them. It's a means to an end. I have met beautiful women with a good personality and thought, she will make me money. I have to fuck this bitch. I don't want to have sex with her. I just need the money.
I am accused of helping my friends get big on TikTok. The bullshit!
Helping your friends get big on TikTok is a
She will
joke.
make me money. I have to fuck this bitch. I don't want to have sex with her. I just...
So anyway, all right. This is basically the Attorney General for the UK. A lot of people, high-ranking officials in the UK have reacted to this. So that's the Attorney General in the UK. She said, with thanks to the hard work of the CPS, Crown Prosecution Service, they prosecute on behalf of the Crown, the King or the Queen. All right. And when he basically goes to court, they'll have King's Counsel cases. They're the highest level lawyers in the country. They'll be wearing the little wigs and they'll be wearing silk capes, as is the tradition in the UK. That's a real thing. Don't see that in the David trial. But anyway, working with their counterparts in the US, Andrew and Tristan Tate have been arrested to face further charges in the UK. Everybody at the highest level of government, politics, and law in the UK has taken a victory lap. We saw from Natalie Fleet, the Home Office Minister responsible for safeguarding and violence against women and girls. That is a whole ministry, apparently. Fair play. She basically said brilliant news that Tate had been arrested. You know, definitely a few more people that maybe need to be on the list. But that's what they got going on. And Harriet Harman, the UK government's UK special envoy for women and girls, whose role focuses on protecting women from violence. These are official UK government jobs. It says the Tate brothers have been arrested in the US as further UK charges take toll to 29. Okay, she's cooked. All right, she's cooking him. She's cooking him. Not she's cooked. She's cooking him. I don't think she's cooked. Is she cooked? You tell me if she's cooked. The whole UK is cooked, so maybe she's cooked. Maybe they're cooked. Maybe they're all right. I don't know. It's up to you guys, man. You guys are gonna have to decide. But they're basically not having it. All right, they're not having it with Andrew Tate. You can't be out here swanning off all around the world doing your thing, whilst people that you have hurt over the years are suffering still from the pain and grief that you've caused them. Now, okay. You guys might be triggered. You might hate me. You might say, Andrew Tate's not so bad. He ain't doing nothing wrong. Well, I think it's going to turn out that he was actually doing awful stuff. I think once all the evidence comes out, give it a few years, I think we might end up looking back at him like an Epstein-type figure because it's trafficking. It sounds like he was trafficking, pimping. He had a pimp and hose degree. Anyway, I'll leave it there. That was the latest update. My chair's caught on something. But I will be back with some more David updates very soon. I was going to do another David update from my desk today, but I think I'm too tired. I'll leave it there. I've got like 2 other videos. I'm going to just hold on to them maybe tomorrow. But thank you so much for all your support. The courthouse reporting has been really, really different for me. I'm grateful you guys are supporting it and watching it, and thank you for trusting me. I'll see you guys soon. That was my Tate update. I really wanted to do that for you guys yesterday, but I just didn't have time. It was hectic. Anyway, see you in the next one. Thank you for supporting and watching. I'm out. Peace. Goodbye.